Yo, what's good? Welcome back to another episode of the Merry Bunch podcast. My name is Chris.
Crystal.
Nico.
Brianna.
William.
Keonda.
And we are the bunch. What happens when a marriage is over? For many, the end of a long relationship means loss, confusion, and uncertainty about the future. But sometimes endings create space for unexpected beginnings. The Browns know that better than most. After spending 2 decades married to different partners, they found their way to each other. Join the bunch as we speak with them about going back to square one.
So, man, I just want to thank y'all for coming here. Heather and James Brown.
Hey. Thank y'all for coming. Thank y'all.
Man, I was so excited when you reached out to me. So I was like, yeah, I got to get y'all on the podcast. You gave me a little snippet of everything that, yes. And so even though we kind of read the concepts, can y'all break it down for me? Take us back a little bit, not too much, but just a little bit about y'all.
Okay. So our background, our beginning.
Yes.
Before us.
Yes.
The before us.
Yeah.
I like to tell people, which is the truth, that between us, we have 40 plus years of marriage. Okay. We got married when we were babies to our first spouses. And it was rough. It was rough, right? And for me, I will tell you that it was rough in the beginning, and I was too young to put the brakes on. So I crashed and burned my entire first marriage.
Wow.
Crashed and burned my entire first marriage. But the thing that I kept coming back to was that I was not just married, I was a wife. I was a wife. And so I held that the entire time, even being a young girl, even, a young mom with children, days that were hard. Not going to say every day was hard because it wasn't, right? Now out of 20 years, you can find some type of happiness, right?
Right.
But I will tell you that when I took out that piece of paper and I wrote down the pros versus the cons, here we are, and there was nothing that was still going to keep me from saying I'm still a wife, no matter what. Divorced before 40 years old. I was 39 years old getting divorced. Yeah. Nothing was going to tell me that I wasn't going to be. Somebody was going to marry me.
Right.
And that was me.
Right. And it was.
For sure.
And for me, it was just, I've always had that fight, just to, make things work, like you said. It wasn't always bad before the worst. It was ups and downs, peaks and valleys. So, it was rough, dealing with different, entities of marriage, and,
right.
Thinking what you thought you knew. But I you take the good with the bad. You take the good with you and leave the bad. So. And that was the one thing, like I said, I always felt like I was a husband. I may not have said it, but I acted in it, so yeah, that's.
No, you told me the first night we met you were a husband.
Well, yeah, I know in my
I know
heart.
that's right. Yeah. I know that's right.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
Right.
My mind came with actions.
Right.
I'll tell you one time, but I'm gonna show you after that.
Oh, I like that. I like that. I almost feel like this is divine, right? Write that for me. I almost feel like this is divine because Chris had a question about that. After being married for so long, do you just stay in it, or you know what I'm saying? So I just feel like this situation is just divine that y'all reached out. We connected. So yeah.
Right. I stayed until I couldn't. Put it like that, right? I stayed until I made a decision. I want my daughters to see me being loved differently. So if that means that it's not going to be by their dad, that's okay. Right. And that was a hard decision because now it's now I have to introduce my children to someone else. And now I have to do all of these things. But it was worth it to me because this is, who I ended up with. So.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
That's good.
For me, it was just, like I said, I always want to be a husband, but I think, when I decided to, I guess you could say shut it down as far as being, available, it made me see a lot of, what I was missing. And that came through conversations and, let alone, with friends and even my sons at the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just showed me that, they even told me, hey, Dad, you still a good dad. You still, you still do husband things. You still, so, but yeah, it's just, that's kind of, I'm just glad she landed in my lap.
All right. So, were there any steps made before filing, like counseling or time of separation?
I'll let you go.
Well, yes, it was. In fact, like I said, this isn't just this was my third, because I got married to my wife, my first ex-wife again, because we tried it. We did all those things.
Oh wow.
A fighter.
Like
Yeah.
I said.
Yeah.
So we went through all the stages, and if anything, it showed the reality of the situation. Like hey, you got to be able to. You see who it's starting to affect.
Yeah.
Not just you mentally, but physically it can
Yeah.
do a lot
Yeah.
to you. And as a husband, as a man, you just don't want to quit. You don't want to quit. You want to fight to the last tooth and nail.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. And in the end, you want the other spouse to be happy in the end,
Yeah.
even in a separation, because it ultimately affects the kids. So
Yeah. Yeah.
For us in my first marriage, we were in counseling by year 3. We went one time. So we went one time, and no, we didn't go back after that. We didn't go back at a point. I know that I wanted to, and I said, well, maybe we can do all these things. But we were also image people at the time too, right? So if we go to counseling, then someone else knows that we're struggling and we're fighting, and I can't let this image go, right? And so by the time the other individual wanted to try counseling again, I was like down the street. So
I get
there
it.
was gonna be for me, I was like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
So, and then the separation, it all happened so quick. It was like a blink of an eye. We were separated, and I was put in a position where I was given an ultimatum. Either do this or that. And I said, well, I'm going to do that. And so, and so then it was like, okay, papers, cool. I'm not going to fight on that, because I'm not ready I need to see some things, right? You want papers? We got papers. So.
Right.
Yeah.
So like you said, you went one time to the counseling. Like that first session, does it get real in there? Is that why you guys?
I want it to get real.
Okay.
I wanted to get real, because that's the whole point. And what I've learned, even through my personal counseling journey after that, if you're not authentic and if you're not upfront, if you're not telling the truth, you're only harming your situation more. Like I could not get the help if I wasn't willing to be naked and transparent and all of these things. But I can't do that by myself. The other party, we have to be on the same page.
Yeah.
And we tried to make the appearance that we were on the same page, but we just weren't.
Yeah.
We weren't. So.
It definitely takes two. You can't just go into counseling with just one.
Yeah.
That's kind of what happened. Same thing here. I went in, ready to go, ready to fight, and when you get half answers, it's like, oh, okay, this is we're gonna try one more time. Like we're gonna come back, but you get the same results, and then not only that, you just kind of like, all right, yeah, you see where this is going.
Yeah.
So you just kind of try to make your exit.
Yeah.
However that has to look. So
Yeah. Wow. Do you mind if I ask a question?
sure.
Okay. So like you said, you married twice.
Yes. So I was married to my ex the first time, and then we just decided to she was in the military, like so she when it was time for her to deploy, or not deploy her, go to a different duty station. It was just like that separation right there kind of opened our eyes to a lot of things, and at that point it was just like, okay, I see, we see where this is going. It's starting to make us not even be friends. And there are children involved, so and to that point, you just kind of make the decision. But of course, a couple months later, you get to being alone, and you have real conversations, because it's like it's not the pressure.
Yeah.
And you've been talking as friends, and then so you think you work it out, but you still have to. I think you still need to go to counseling, even after the fact that you think that you are better.
Yeah.
Because there's still a lot of things that a lot of traumas that happen. So, but I did it twice with the same one, but so,
Yeah. Definitely a fighter. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
All right. So, how do you know when to call it quits?
I knew 5 years before I left that I was leaving. I knew 5 years before I left. It was a lot, you know. It was based upon like my past, the way I grew up, you know, all of these things, and I just couldn't. My children, you know, my ex was in the military as well, so getting used to that whole, you know, military lifestyle, and then going back into civilian lifestyle, and then having to adjust to that, and it was so much happening. I knew I was done when my emotions were dead to the situation. They were dead. I'm not suggesting this for any of the listeners, viewers, you know, but for me, my emotions were dead. I just didn't have it for this person anymore. When I got to a point where I wanted to see him with someone else, when I got to a point where I said, let me introduce you to somebody else, that's when I knew I was, because I was ready. I had a list of people I was like, with qualities. That I was like, okay. Because we started off as friends. So let's go back to let's see if this friendship works. I'm going to be your wingman. Right?
Wow.
Did not like that. And so he did not want a wingman. And so it was not for me. You know, so respect. I'm going to let you find your own person. You know, so yes. Yeah. So that was it for us. It was just like, I can't. Today, if one more thing happens, I'm done. And one more thing happened, and I was like, okay, that's it.
Yeah.
And so for us, it was for me, it was just she was dealing with the, you know, I guess sexuality, her sexuality, and you know, by that time we were, you know, separated but still living in the same house. So, you know, me seeing her mentally break down to try to fight, I said, you know, I have to, you know, be, you know, selfless and help her through all of this, you know, try to tell her to go to therapy, you know, coach, hey, you need somebody to talk to, I'm here, you know where I'm in the basement, you upstairs, so we can meet in the middle and we can talk if we need to, you know, and I mean, not just doing only that, but breaking the news to our kids, to our boys. So, you know, in the time of, you know, us being separated and completely thinking about it, and I was like, if anything, I want her to truly be happy and be comfortable in who she is, because she has to be able to mentally still be able to be there for our boys, even if not with me. Forget about me right now. You know what? It's about them. So, you know, that's, for me, that was when I knew. I said, hey, you know what? I have to completely remove myself from this situation, because I'm okay with the boys. I mean, I'm all right. We all right. But them seeing her and, you know, getting the news and, you know, and it just, So, that's, for me, was like, hey. We're done. So.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so what are some of the first steps in starting over?
Let's see, how did I start over? Okay. I will say this. This is what I will say. I want to put this disclaimer out there. I was not living for Jesus when I divorced my ex-husband. Okay. We were living for Jesus, and then we both backslid terribly. Like I can teach you how to backslide. I was in a heavily backslidden state, you know, but I was somebody's wife. Though that's what I knew. I was not a girlfriend. You're not gonna call me a girlfriend. I don't do a lot of serial dating. You're going to see what you want. You're going to make a decision, or else you're going to move forth.
Right.
Because I have children that I have to deal with, and I can't be spending time with you and doing all this over here and going here. No. If you want to be here, you'll be here. If not, that's fine. Somebody will come. You know, and that's the attitude that I had the whole time. So I was just super, like, confident that I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be good, you know. And I dated. But it just didn't work because they weren't my husband. This is my husband. He's been my husband since birth, so I've already said that.
Right.
The way, and we'll talk about it and how we, yes, all of that. And so God was just bringing me and preparing me for Him. So,
and I thank God for preparing her. You know, because I mean, I was like. I told her, like, I said, I'm not getting married no more. And I'm like, I'm not playing in the streets. Matter of fact, if this was what's out here, other than you, I'm going to work and just stack my bread and get my boys to wherever.
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean, I know you say you can't live life alone, but you know, you gotta be able to focus on something other than what because like I said, I mean, if you move like a husband, you already know what you're going to attract. You know what I mean? So you know, for me, I kind of really put myself in solitude, and then I was like, you know what? We actually got introduced a year prior to.
You got introduced.
Well, I got introduced.
Tell the truth and praise the devil. He got introduced to me without my knowledge.
but you know, and even seeing her picture and profile and all that, because I kind of was like in and out of social media, so you know, I was kind of backing up from it. So you know, it was a situation I was like, yeah, I would get married. And before meeting her, it was still, you know, I would say I was preparing myself. You know, so much solitude that it. You know, my boys are like, "Hey, man, we about to put you out here on a dating app."
Right.
You know, I mean, they came to me. I remember they came down to the basement and was like, "Yeah, like,
which picture?
Hey,
Say cheese.
Everybody asking for your birthday. Hey, what picture? Like, hey, what you like? Like, what you mean? Why you already know what I like. You know, I'm like
Setting you up.
man. I'm like, what y'all finna do? Man, we about to put you on a date. Oh, no, you ain't.
No, you ain't.
So, you know, and it's just for me at that point when the kid was like, hey, all right, it's time to move forward.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, that was the point. Is you know, you just know. You know in your heart, so.
All right, so does divorce have to be difficult?
Oh, it doesn't have to be, but it is.
It's always going to be some level of difficulty.
Because I mean, it's just, you know, the repetition of things that you know, like you said, you get up and you know, it just one of those things. You get up and you just have these things that you do, or you know, and it's not there anymore. So those are some of the emotional things that kind of you got to settle in on at home.
The grieving.
The
grieving process.
Yeah, the grieving
You
process.
have to grieve
Yeah.
when you are going through a divorce. If you don't grieve properly, your next situation won't work out. I started grieving as I was still married.
Okay.
I did. I started grieving because I knew that we were, at this point, it's formality for me. So whether you're lost in the sauce, whether you have no idea that this is coming, I'm still acting as though I'm moving forward. And so I did start a grieving process then, and it was very, very difficult. And then the other party has to be mature as well. Like there has to be, you got to be grown to go through a divorce, especially when you have children. And if you've been apart, I mean, we've been married half our lives.
Pretty much.
The life is different. You grew up with this person, you know, for the most part, unless you're shocked by something, right? You know the ins and outs of this person. And so that's it's like, I can't say it's almost as bad as grieving a parent because there is no, I don't know if anyone has ever grieved a parent, but there is no pain like grieving a parent. I would say that divorce is probably second. It is. Routine, right? And again, the other person. If the other person is giving you a hard time, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. So.
Wow.
That's real. So you had a grieving process. So what was the process for healing after the grieving, like as far as your feelings and stuff like that?
Well, for me, it was trying to gain the confidence in just moving differently every day. You know, knowing that, you know, everything that you do is, you know, kind of. And for me, in the situation that I was in, was because we were still in the same home at the time. So, you know, we were trying to, you know, heal in that way. And you know, grieving and healing in the same home, it was very hard, but you know, it had to be done. You know, in the healing, it was a lot of, for me, it was solitude and going to God, putting God first, and you know, going to Proverbs, like you know, just, you know, I'm telling you, you just gotta, you know, regain that confidence and that trust in the situation and what is going on. You just give it to God, not put it in your own heart and mind, put it in God, you know. So and just believing in God, who, you know, what's gonna happen going forward. So that's, you know.
That was good. I was going to ask, I was like, what, like, as far as confidence, but I guess it's not really confidence in yourself, it's confidence in God.
Yep, and faith and having hope that he, you know, faith that he was going to, you know, pave that road for you and open the doors that need to be open, close the ones that need to be closed.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That was good.
That was good. I'm telling you.
How did I heal? I love myself. I love myself. I went on vacation. I went,
Do all that.
I went on vacation. And, you know, I was fought in my divorce for like literally everything. Like I walked away from my divorce. I had nothing but my children. And it was okay. I remember the judge asking me before we actually saw the judge again. My husband has seen the judge. That's right. You know, you get taken to court a couple times. You know, you get put with the same people. So I remember she asking me. It was almost like in the scene of like, "What's love got to do with it?" Where Tina was like, she just wanted her name.
Right.
I just wanted my peace. She was like, "So you mean to tell me you don't want this? You don't want this? You don't want this? You don't want this?" I said, "No, I want nothing. I want nothing. I want to leave and I want to go love on my kids. That's it." And I did.
Yeah.
And it was hard. It was a different life. It was a different life after that. It was it was me being a single mom, which is a lot. It was a lot in a short period of time, a lot to get used to, a lot to routines change. And now all of this is on me and distance. And it was so much. But I still found time to love myself. I still found the resources. I sacrificed to love myself. If I knew that I was getting ready to crash out, kids, I need a couple days without you. I got to find somebody to keep these kids so I can go.
That's right.
It was dinners alone. Took myself to dinner alone. And I stood on business. So anytime somebody wanted to approach, what you working with? Because I got these bills. I don't need good morning. I don't need grand rising.
I know that's right. I know that's
I
right.
don't need none of that. I don't need it. So if you're not bringing it,
Bye-bye.
see ya.
I was saying all that, but
You
I was swinging for the
It was
fences,
different.
though.
You did your thing. You did your
Swinging
thing. But no, I didn't need all of that. Like if you step in, you better step. You got to bring some tangibles.
I know
You gotta
that's right.
step. And that shit. And you know what? And I wanted my daughters, even though I never told my kids I was dating. My kids never knew I was dating because they only saw me married. My kids have never seen me single.
Wow.
So I didn't want them to see me date. I wanted them to see me as a wife.
Oh,
That's good.
So
That's good.
I did not introduce my kids to anyone. He's the only one. He's
That's
the only
good.
one. I wouldn't have never done that. Nobody knew where I lived. All of that. No one knew my house. No one even knew the town that I lived in because I had moved. I had left the home where I raised my kids. I chose to leave so he could pay that mortgage. So I pulled my
Smart.
so I left and I took my kids and no one found out. He didn't even know right away where I lived. He wasn't coming to the house. Ain't no coming
that's
over.
right.
I
That's
come
a
see
word
you.
for the sisters out
The
there.
sisters.
Sisters.
I come see you, but
That's
you're
real.
not coming to see me. I was he was like, I can't. No, you may not. You can't come over here. Because no one, I don't want my daughter seeing anybody walk through that house unless he's gonna. I know he's gonna be my husband.
Right.
That's right.
So
That's right.
when he
Only time I
came
was
over,
there,
when
it
you
was
moved
moving.
me out,
It was moving time.
when he came over and he was allowed inside, he was moving me out. Into his
Wow.
house.
That's a word.
Yes.
That's a word.
It was standing on business.
Yes. I had to.
That's
I
real.
had
Yeah.
to.
That's real.
I had to. My daughters were like, my daughters are everything to me.
Yes.
So I just couldn't just take that risk in front of them. The world tries to get them in so many other ways. And even though I'm not a perfect parent, I've made my fair share of mistakes and things that I've even had to apologize to my children about, right? But one thing I did not want them to see was me dating. That was
Right.
just something that I just couldn't even like walk through. I don't want no questions. I don't like to answer kids' questions anyway. I'm not answering your questions about this, but I feel like if I'm putting myself in this position, then I owe this to you.
Right.
I don't want to feel like I owe you anything because I take care of you. So that means
Right.
I got to keep this part of my life secret.
Right.
So
Yeah. That's real. That's a word.
That's good.
Yeah. That's for the sisters. For real.
it's not easy.
No.
I will say that, right? It's not easy. I'm not going to sit here and say that when you're seeing people or meeting people, you want to spend time with them and whatnot, but it takes a lot of I don't know what the word is. I mean, strength, right? It takes a lot of tenacity to even be like, okay, I'm just going to stay steadfast on this path right here,
Right.
you know? So,
Yeah, you kind of answered the next question. Like, how you finding yourself? You was on vacation,
I
girl.
was.
Right?
I was
You was,
getting, getting flued out and being
Hey,
flued out and going on my
Alright, city
own
girl.
to be. But he knew this. I was like, hey,
Right.
this is what's
Yeah.
happening. So,
Right. Yeah. I love
you know,
that.
so I was, and then I wanted to, again, it was like the confidence, like just rebuilding myself, because when you're with someone for so long, divorce doesn't just happen.
Right.
Right. Divorce isn't just something that I know you mentioned it on your last podcast. Do you like wake up in the morning and decide that you're done with your person? You don't. You don't wake up. Now, you may be afraid to have those conversations for some people or be met with resistance, but it doesn't happen overnight. And for me, it was such a long time of me feeling like depleted, depressed, like I wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
Like this person wasn't in my corner, right? And so you go through all that. That's how you start to see yourself. You know, so I had to like go through that whole thing, like rebuilding myself, knowing who I am, and then again finding Christ again, because I completely walked away from God during that time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So it is like you can actually lose yourself in the divorce, lose your confidence in the
even though I knew I was a wife, that wasn't going to change for me. I remember a comment being made to me, no one's ever going to marry you again.
Well, Clarnette, right?
You want receipts?
You know.
Would you like receipts? But I was just like, okay, I'm gonna, you know. But again, if you're hearing this by the person who's supposed to love you, right? Supposed to love you all these years, supposed to be pouring into you and whatnot, and they're just trying to take from you, even down again to your confidence to make you. I felt like I was a shell of myself, like I didn't know who I was. So
Yeah, I can't go deep, but well, I can. It's a different dynamic, but because it was dealing with sexuality. I think mine probably from the very beginning, but me not knowing, you know, not understanding it, you know, hoping for the best, and you know, not seeing the signs too. You know, you're like, wait a minute, you know, okay, this is different. I'm, you know, and being real and, you know, to yourself, and like, okay, well, this is gonna be different. This is different. This is who you are is different. You know, you operate different. You see different, including myself. You know, you lose confidence because you start to think about the things like, I'm moving out to a woman. I mean, this is real. Like,
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? That can tear a man down. You know,
Yeah.
and, you know, it's kind of like, you know, what is it me?
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
it wasn't.
that gotta be
Well,
hard.
right.
Go ahead and give him affirmation. It won't you at all.
Yeah, you know. So,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah, that had to be hard.
It was, you know. So you got to take all of that in consideration. You know, when
Yeah.
you're dealing with, you know, divorce, rebuilding, you know, with yourself.
Yeah.
You know, because you know you put up with so much and you've allowed so much. I mean, you can only fight back for so long before you're like, you know what? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
For real. So now we're gonna get into how y'all met. We kind of heard a little bit that you seen a picture, so kind of explain how y'all actually officially met.
Yeah, through, like I said, through a mutual friend of ours. You know, it was just like one night he needed help with his van or something like that. You know, and I was like, he called me, hey man, what you doing? I was like, actually, I don't gotta work tomorrow. I was gonna chill out, you know, play the game, whatever. You know, single man. I'm, you know, watching kids. I'm cooking dinner. You know, I'm like, I ain't know, I'm chilling. And he's like, man, come through. You know, like, all right, cool. I went over there, and it's funny because it was from the van. Like, you know, I went over there to help him get his van door on. And he like, man, so what you think about, you know, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, man, I don't know, man. You know, I'm not sure if I want to, you know, I'm ready. He's like, man, just come on. I'm like, all right, cool. So, you know, yeah, he ended up calling me over there, and, you know, and she came walking around the corner, and I was like, oh. You know,
Yes.
And
then we got married.
And then
we got married.
And then we got married. And, you know, it was, you know, yeah, that's how we met.
That's
essentially
essentially
how we met.
He was, this friend had called me. He said, what are you doing? And I was like, I was out to dinner with my homegirl. So I'm out to dinner. He said, can you come over? You watch a movie? Can you come over? You want to hang out? I was like, nope. I do not. I've been running these streets all day. I'm going home. And he was like, please. I was like, nope, gotta go. So I got off the phone. His friend called me. She said, what are you doing? I was like, I'm out to dinner. What do you want? Right? So then eventually I went. I was like, all right, well, let me go for a little bit and see what he wants, right? So I walked in the house. And I wasn't dressed. I was like, running around, doing this, doing that or whatever. Was not dressed, wasn't prepared. I walk in the house. I don't know what he was doing. He was at the cabinet, the kitchen cabinet. He stood up. I backed out. I was like, I gotta go. I'm gonna leave now. I'm just gonna go. I was like, where are you going? Come back. Come back. I was like, I'm not ready. Like, what is this? What is this? Who is this? So.
Yeah, like I said,
And that night was history.
Yeah, pretty much.
That night was history. Brian got to a point where he was like, I'm not here. I'm not here anymore. You're not here anymore. It's just us. So.
Yeah, I mean, you got all the info. I asked all the questions I needed to
He was
ask.
drilling me. I had no idea. This man he was schooling me. He was drilling me, everything. I had no idea. I'm just answering his questions. He just asking. Popping out questions.
Oh, he was
and
ready.
I'm like, okay, all right, okay. He got to a point. He was like, you mind if I give you a foot massage? It was over. It was over. And from that point on, I was like, yes, sir. So, and from that point on, we were just together. We never left each other's side after that.
Yeah, I had a lot to learn about each other. So,
Right.
Yeah. You put everything on Front Street, and if you cool with it, I'm cool with it.
It was purposeful.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was purposeful. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. My intent was clear. So.
Just a foot
Guess
rub.
I'll be giving foot massage.
Amen. Yeah, see, that's why we love when people come. He give us advice. Foot rubs.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
So who would you say I love you first?
That was me.
It was you.
Like I really through all the questions, seriously, through all the questions and responses and bringing something to the table, it was like she was my equal, and as far as like the thought process, the foundation, the morals that I stood on, so it was just like, you know what, all right, cool. Yeah, I know I love you. And it was a sure, because it was just one of those things. Like I didn't believe in love at first sight. But that was what it was, and that's what it was for me. So,
Right.
You know what I mean? So, and I'm glad it was with her.
Right.
So,
Did you say it back?
Yes.
You sure about that?
I wanted to be sure
Oh.
that he wasn't gonna mess up, so I did. I wanted to be sure, so I was thinking. You go right back through your mind, and you're like, okay, wait a minute. Okay, he did this. Okay, he doing this. Okay, he doing this. Okay, the girls love him. The boys love me. Like it was like everything works, and it was like a natural flow. And then I knew that God was speaking to me about him. So God was starting to drop these things to me. And this is, again, when I was still in a backslidden state. So it's not like I was talking to God constantly and like trying to build my relationship, but I had a strong enough relationship with God in my past to know when he's speaking to me. And so he kept speaking to me. He kept creating situations. And so I was like, yes, I do love you. Yes, I do. And the whole thing was ordained. So like even the person who introduced us, what you don't know is that we'll say that they are connected to his ex-wife.
Okay.
Right. Even down to, us being, because JB's we're not from the same state.
yeah.
Okay.
So my husband was brought to me. He was brought to Chicago for me. His ex-wife brought him to Chicago for me.
Wow.
So all of these things, right? I had been saying from me being a young kid, he has proof of this. I was going to be a Brown. That's who I was growing up. I was Heather Brown growing up.
Oh, wow.
And I used to get in trouble because that wasn't my maiden name. So my teacher used to be like, why is she writing Brown on her? Heather Brown. So, again, like all of these things. And we could talk all night about,
Wow, I mean,
All of that.
all of that, yeah, it's a lot. But you know, it's like it just, like I said, her being just my equal, like it really, I mean, from the mental state to the, you know, down to the loving the kids and how, you know, family. You know, family was always a big thing for me. I have a big family, so you know, brothers, we tight. You know, like I always say, when I got brothers, I don't need friends, but you know what I'm saying. But I do have friends. You know what I'm saying? But you
A
know,
couple. A couple. You don't have no friends like that. Trust me, because he be with me every day.
But yeah, no, I you know, like I said, very much my equal. You know, as far and even in love, like. You know, there are different levels of loving people. As you know, I've seen in my previous, someone can only love you so much.
Right.
You know, but when somebody can love you just as much as you love them, there's no end.
Yeah.
That's another bar.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He
Dropping jewels, man.
he brings me Jesus, right? So that was also how I knew I loved him too, because he was my closest representation of Jesus on this earth. Because of how he was, because of his walk, right? Even when he was in his backslidden state, my husband loves like no other. He's the kindest, sweetest, most gentle human being, the greatest dad, the greatest partner to have, the greatest son, you know, brother, cousin, you know, and his entire family will tell you. And so that brought me Jesus, how forgiving he is. Like, I would be like, you know, and I have to be honest with myself, that wasn't always like the easiest thing for me. If someone's doing something to me, they're consistently doing this thing to me, I gotta do something about it.
Right.
Him is like, we good. Sure. We all right. We okay. Now I'm like that. Now I'm just like, all right, whatever.
Yeah.
But before I was like, no, we gotta fight. You know, he's not fighting. He don't fight. No, he's peaceful.
Yeah. I mean, but you know, you invite me to the party, I'm gonna be dressed.
I get it.
Yeah.
I understand.
But you know, I try to keep it peaceful. I mean, because you know, the things that you do has ripple effects.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you gotta be careful how you move, you know, and how you act and how you know you show. You know, so you gotta act accordingly.
Yeah.
Yes. So how long did you date before becoming engaged?
3 months.
What?
Whoa.
Oh no! I mean, well, we got married in 3 months.
Six,
so-
Whoa.
6 months.
Yeah. 6.
So it was a progression.
Yeah,
so
so we
like
got engaged,
we were just talking
married
about this with
6, yeah.
Ashley earlier.
Yeah. It was,
So my friend Ashley and I were on the phone, and we were just having this conversation, and we had to go back to
Yeah.
see like, wow, like how long did it take for us? It was like so immediate. What was it? JB started acting like a husband. So that's what he did. He started acting like a husband first. He wasn't doing nothing. He wasn't talking. He wasn't saying nothing. Let me just show you I'm a husband. So he just started acting like a husband. Just a natural progression. And so I'm like, oh, okay. You know, JB paying bills. He doing all that. You know, JB was just doing it all. So I'm like, is this a scam? You know what I mean? Like, what's going on, right? But no, because he's giving me access to things, right? You know how you men are, right? You know, you're hard eggs to crack when it comes to your personal information. But JB's like, look, I need this to happen. So what are we gonna do? Yeah. So we went on vacation. Again, we were not acting in our safe states of mind.
yeah.
We went on a vacation, and on the vacation, JB says, you know you're my wife. You know I'm going to marry you. Mm-hmm. And I was
That's
like...
why I asked for that photo the other day.
Which one?
The one in Vegas.
Oh, the one in... Oh, okay.
Yeah,
And so clearly that night you knew then. Mm-hmm. Okay. So I said, okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. And so he was like, let's go get a ring. Like, he's challenging me. I'm like, okay. Let's go get the ring. And so we went, and he saw the ring that he was like, he tried this on. You like it? Okay, let's go talk to the kids.
Wow.
Let's go talk to the kids. It was like, no, like, are you going to marry me? No. Would you like to be my wife? No, you're my wife. Let's go.
So it was no official proposal.
No, he knocked me over the head. like Bam Bam Pebbles did. Bam Bam. And then, you're my wife. I was like, okay. And so there was no like official big like, will you? I did that already.
Been
My
there,
first
been
look,
Been there, done that.
look,
Yeah.
we did that already in the first time, right? The big public, all this. You want to get married? Sure. Let me see what the kids think. He went. He sat the 4 kids down.
Mm-hmm.
What y'all think?
Which I think.
What we gonna do? And that's when he got down on his knee.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
That's what's
in front of
up.
the kids.
Yeah.
Because the kids had to be good with it.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, the kids had to be good.
That's what's up.
Yeah, that's what's up, boy.
So about y'all feeling like you've been there, done that? Did y'all have a big wedding, or did you just went and got married, or?
No, we did a weekend event.
Yeah, weekend
We
event.
went to
Okay.
City Hall,
Okay.
and then we did 2 parties. One
Nice.
for adults and one night, and then one for families the next night.
Oh wow.
Oh, wow.
That's nice.
So
Yeah,
yeah, we
it was
did.
lovely.
Yes, it was a great weekend.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a great weekend. You know, the one friend he does have came in to to DJ, so that was nice. Oh,
The one friend you have.
no. Came in to DJ, so it was nice. Our families, you know, were together. So his family came in from here and
Maryland,
and here. So
Yeah,
it's nice.
Yeah, like I told her, I was like, you know, I didn't know if she understood like how strong my family was, but it was a situation with a friend that came
Oh yes,
to the event.
that friend, that same friend.
That almost got put up out of the way he should.
Right.
But you know,
The one who brought us together, actually. The one who brought us
crazy.
together.
Wow.
Yeah, ended up showing himself.
and almost
Showing
got
himself
dealt
strong
with. So.
during our wedding. So.
Yeah, so but you
Wow.
know,
Yes.
that just showed, you know, like the love that I have, I bring more than just myself. My family's gonna love you just as you
Yes.
know, and you know, like I told her, when Pop stood up and said, "Hey,"
Right. Yeah, right.
and Pop didn't even have to go far. Bro was like, "Hey,
No, that's the
all
way.
right, come on, get back."
Because I was ready. I'm the one who's ready, right? I was ready to go that night. I was.
I was like,
ready
"Nah,
to
sit
go.
down, sit down. Don't worry about it." But you know,
I'm
like,
changed now.
Yeah, for sure, for
Different.
sure.
I
But
I used to
no.
be like that too. Ready.
Right,
You
ready.
sit down.
Right.
You sit down. I got this.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So it wasn't, and it didn't need to be long for us because, again, I don't have time to waste. I will be 45 years old next week.
Happy birthday.
Early birthday. Yeah.
I don't have time to waste.
I know that's
I don't
right.
have time to waste. My kids are grown. Like, I don't, like, we got college students. We got, you know what I mean? We got kids who are going into careers. I don't have time to waste, you know? And I was never going to say to anyone, because I just don't believe that women should be put in position to have to ask questions, right? You are the giver, we're the receiver. I'm not asking you how you feel about me. I'm not asking you where we're going next. I'm not asking you any of those questions. You're either going to do it or you're not, and someone else will, right? I never asked him, what are we going to do this time? How are you going to do this? I'm not asking you that question. Jesus didn't put me on earth for me to have to ask a man a thing.
I know that's right. That's a word.
So, and this is for the ladies, you know, the ones who kind of wait for years and years and years. You don't have to wait for years because a man knows almost immediately. I don't
Let
care
him know.
what they tell you.
I just said
I don't
that.
care what they will try to tell you. I don't care what they will try to sell you. It does not take a man months even to know if you're going to be the one that he wants to spend the rest of his life with. It doesn't. So don't buy into that narrative and don't let nobody sell you a dream on that. You don't have to do common law. You don't have to. And people can't take that truth because they feel like it's insulting.
Right.
Okay, well, let me insult you and Jesus can heal that.
I know that's right.
I'm just telling you.
No, for
Because
real.
what I don't want is for
talking
these.
about.
There's so many women out here who just waste their time because men are just like, I'm not ready. Well, what else do you need to be ready for at 45 years old? What do you need? What do you need? You know, what hasn't happened in your life to this point? And if it hasn't, then I'm not going to help you find it.
I
so
know that's
you can,
right.
you can move on. You
Got
know,
time.
so
Now that's
why
a word.
That's
For
why he
real.
didn't waste time because it's like, you know,
yeah,
we just it wasn't no time wasted. We couldn't. And it was important. We were also thinking, again, purposeful. So it wasn't like, okay, oh my God, we're lusting after each other and now we got to be together. No, we talk about money. We're talking about situations. We're talking about difficulties. We're talking about problems with exes. All of these things that we had to bring together in such a short amount of time.
Right.
We're either going to do it or we're not.
Yeah.
We're not going to be spending money to go out all the time because things started to get expensive. So if we're going to spend time together, then we got to have our kids. We didn't want to sacrifice time with our children like that. So now we all have to spend time together.
Right.
You know, so that was one of the things too. And I didn't want my daughters to see me living with a man and not be married to them because they had only seen me with their dad. I'm not gonna create this narrative in your head for where you think it's okay for you to just shack with somebody. So I'm not gonna do that in front of you. So it was, we had to wait and have two separate households until we were right before we got married.
Yeah.
Right before we got married, that's when he moved me in. But other than that, we were waiting. I'm not living with you. I'm not doing this.
Right.
Money going out. Money going out to different places. You know, bills are increasing because now we got 6 people in the house. We got 4 kids.
Adults.
That we got to,
That's
4
what they
adults.
was.
We got to.
They eat like adults.
Look, our son is what? He's 6'5". So
like
imagine
it.
that. You know what I mean? So we got big kids we're feeding and all of that. So we were like, are we gonna get together and reduce this money that we paying out to these places?
Right.
Very purposeful.
Very purposeful.
And then what can we do for the future? You know, that was it. What can we do? How can we build these things? How can we be financially secure? How can we, you know, physically secure? How can we build each other up? How can we help improve each other? You know, so it was really like people who decided that we were going to be best friends. And once we decided we were going to be best friends, it made the marriage easier.
Yeah.
It's my homie. You know what I'm
Yeah.
telling you? Straight up.
You don't hurt your friends.
Nah.
You
Right.
don't intentionally
You
hurt
don't.
your friends. You don't try to cause your friends pain. You ride for your friends. So why can't we treat our spouses just like we
Same
would
way.
treat
Same
our
way.
best
Yeah.
homegirl or homeboy?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's one word to describe your marriage?
Beautiful.
Hey.
You know, and I always, you know, the old saying, like, the beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Right.
It's just beautiful in my eye because I've seen the worst. Or I've seen what I
Your
thought.
version of
My version of the worst. But yeah, you know, when I've seen that I was getting treated, you know, with love, and I mean even getting fussed out in love, people don't understand the difference, and that is very important when when your spouse is, you know, getting on you out of love. You can't take it personal, man. And so for for me, it was that, you know, her fussing me out, it was done out of love because I've been fussed out of. I just been fussed out. And you sitting there lost trying to figure it out. You know, I don't have to do that with her.
Right.
You know what I mean? She's like, you know, I'm gonna fuss you out, but we're gonna get through this. You know, and you know, vice versa. You know, I don't have to fuss her out too
At
much,
all.
You know, I had to get
Usually
on
that's
her.
how it is. This
Yeah,
morning.
I get on her a little bit, but no,
Sometimes.
not too often. But you know, like you said, when you meet that equal, you meet that love, and the thing that gives it right back to you, don't let it go.
Yeah.
That's what I will say. Do not let it go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely. How long have you been married currently?
4 years.
4
4
years.
years.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
It feels like longer. So
Right.
we're still newlyweds, but not because again we've been married before. So
Right.
it's like, you know, we friends. We
Yeah.
just it's just a bond. You know, sometimes I do forget how long we've been together. We've lived. It's almost like our lives have you know, my husband's from everywhere. You know, he was you know, an army brat, and then he married someone in the military. Again, my ex-husband was in the military, so we have so many similarities, even down to schools with our ex-spouses. You know, different other situations. So it wasn't looked at as, we don't look at it as just a marriage.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Really a lifetime intertwined.
Yeah.
You know, you think
Yeah,
about it, but
Yeah.
So we are.
And just looking at y'all, like watching y'all, because y'all know we do life together.
Yes, we love that.
You know, just watching y'all, it seems like it has been a long time. Like, you know, I would never think 4 years. Like y'all,
I'm
it's like y'all
saying.
got it figured out,
I'm
which is a
saying,
beautiful thing.
That's Jesus.
Yeah.
That's Jesus. Because
Yeah.
again, it's like, do I want the rest of my life to be happy now that I'm getting in you know, I won't say like my latter years, but again, like, I'm 5 years from 50. Like, that's a big thing if you think about it. Right. And so what do I want to do? Do I want to fuss and fight? As I'm preparing, for grandchildren at some point one day, we got kids that are getting to that point.
Right.
Which is crazy for us to say, so it was even a very quick progression with them because they're stair steps.
Yep.
They're all a year apart.
Oh,
so,
wow.
it just, the whole thing just worked out perfect.
It's crazy. Yeah. Like I said, from there, I've always wanted girls, and I've always wanted at least 4 kids, but, and then, just so happened,
That's crazy.
How the lifestyle as far as like being an Army spouse. So it was just everything everything meshed. So it was like, man, it's crazy. So
Yes.
That is good. So speaking of kids, can you explain the dynamic of your family?
Sure. There's 4 of them. Like
So
we
4,
said,
okay.
yes. There's 4 of them. There's 2 boys and 2 girls. We have 21, 20, 18, almost 19,
Almost
18,
19.
almost 21.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. 21, 20, 18, and 17.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so all back to back.
Yes,
So
exactly.
you balancing all of that. And
Look now. And then we parent from 2 different states too, because we have to share our kids with people.
Yeah, 'cause that was the next question.
We
Co-parenting.
share.
How is
Yeah.
Now
that?
they were all with us, so
Yes.
we all were together. We were all chilling out and living under one roof. And then we decided that we were going to move. The Lord told us we were moving to North Carolina. I say we decided, we didn't.
And y'all were in Chicago?
Yes,
Okay.
he had came to Chicago to get me.
Got you. Okay.
Right.
That was I almost had it.
He didn't stop in Chicago for a
Okay.
few years. He stopped in Chicago for a few years, picked me up, and then we moved together.
wow.
And then the first night we met, he was like, "Hey,
it's close to being up out of there.
right."
I was
So,
getting ready to
so
leave.
before I met you, I was
Yeah.
about to go.
Yep.
Wow.
You coming? How you feel?
Hey.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay, maybe we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
And then
that was
God,
saying, look, hey, bro,
We
you
gotta go.
move. Time to go.
Yeah.
Wow.
yeah,
You got bigger things to look after and take care of. So
and then to come to our church too.
Yeah,
So that was
I
a
mean,
thing
that-
for us too. Like, I have a connection to our bishop from Chicago,
Okay.
but did not know that I had this connection to him at the time. And so, in my early 20s, my ex-husband and I joined a church, a pretty popular church in Chicago. We served there for, I want to say like 10 or 12 years. Well, that just so happens to be someone that Bishop is connected to in the faith and still has a relationship and spends time with him, right? So I had no idea that any of this was happening. We had actually left that church. I went to another church, served there for 8 years, ended up meeting him, and then now we're here. So as we're having a conversation with Bishop one day, I said, "Hey, Bishop, this is what I found out through, I think it was the new members. The new members
class.
New members class that we have, and it stated that this is his connection to Chicago." So I'm like, whoa,
Crazy.
like this is not ironic.
No.
God has us here for a reason.
Right.
The word that I was getting then is the word that I'm getting now. It's so very simple. To even like when we'll listen to like, Dr. Winston,
yeah.
and he'll be like, "Is that Dr. Winston? That sound like, or it sound like something Bishop would say, or so.
Yeah.
Wow.
So let us hear, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's good.
I'm trying to think because we always have like, y'all can help me out. We always have like these crazy random questions that we ask. Okay. So the one I'm kind of thinking about before we kind of like close and wrap up everything. What would y'all say about like gender roles? I know you say he's very much a husband and you're very much a wife, but what do y'all have any gender roles? Like he got
Yeah.
He does everything.
I mean, how about this?
He does everything.
Well, and I do, and
Yeah.
like you said, that comes from. It comes from like my previous marriage being Max being always gone. I had to take on the roles of really caring, going and wiping tears and talking and having a conversation. So, but now I pretty much take care of stuff outside the house.
does
What I'm
everything.
saying? I do everything. But, now when it comes to that, it's just
Yeah.
You know, you do the man thing.
Yeah.
I don't
Right.
know. That's just
Right.
how I was
I
raised.
believe-
Like,
I
you know,
believe in
that's how I
gender
was raised,
roles.
yeah.
She's talking about, I believe in it.
I believe in gender roles. I was raised I was raised by my grandmother. Mm-hmm. She's my mama. She's my mama, the only mama I've ever known. And she was a Southern woman from the Bayou. And she was very much into, this is what you're not going to do as a woman. So she was my version of a Southern belle in Chicago. You're not going to do this. You're not going to break your back doing this. You're not going to do this. And she was in nursing. So now we got health problems that we're dealing with from women doing all of these things that they should not be doing and compromising their bodies and all these things. So I was fine with all of that. I'm not doing this. I'm not going to lift this. I'm not doing that. I may pack a box, but I don't move
You don't lift
nothing.
it?
I don't lift it. I'm not going, look, I'm not doing that. I'll cook your food for you.
Yeah.
I do your laundry.
I'm good.
I do laundry.
Yeah.
I cook his food for him. What else? Clean up around the house.
Yeah, I mean,
I work a job.
you might. You
Right,
just
you
might
know.
say that.
I work from home. I'm his secretary.
Yeah.
I know that's right.
You know, his nurse, his prayer partner. You know, all of these things. So like I'm big on gender roles.
Yeah.
I won't do, if it's something he can do, I'm not doing it.
And she shouldn't. And that's the same
That's
thing
right.
that I try to teach the
understand.
boys, we teach the kids. Like, hey, look, don't accept nothing else. Like, if
Don't.
you dating, guess what? And they ain't acting like both of y'all, all four of y'all. Y'all
Right.
know, if you have any questions, you know who to call.
Right.
So, we don't play that, because if they come walking up in this house and you sitting there and you, hold on, you talking about oh no. Hey, sir.
Our kids know.
Yeah, no.
Right. Right.
Yeah, we're big on that, and we'll say it too. Like we're very like, look, I'm a woman. He's a man, for our children to verbalize, I am a woman, he is a man, just so they can understand there are certain things that should not happen, right? There are certain things, again, women should not have to do in relationship. Not if a man is around.
I know that's right.
That's true.
What about, I can be by myself,
I know that's right.
and so, yeah. So, and I'm thankful that I'm married to someone who's very much so like, I got it, I'll do it. Go sit down, go do this, don't do that. Even at the church.
Yeah.
So we were on the Fall Fest because we just do everything. No, wait. We were on the Fall Fest committee. So
That was work.
we joined the Fall Fest committee, right? Yeah. And so, because we love the kids, so we were, setting up. And he's outside and he's seeing women move boxes and carry tables. Chairs. Like, he does not like to get attitude.
Look at his face there. He like, that's irritating.
Like, definitely when you see men standing around.
Right.
Yeah. Not saying the men of CPM just be standing around.
See that.
No, we're not saying that, however, for the other men. Right.
Shouldn't no woman be lifting the table?
I know that's right.
It
Nothing.
doesn't.
It doesn't look right.
It doesn't look right. And I know we got some hard-headed women out here, but
I know we do.
You still, but yeah,
right.
it bothers me. How about that?
Right. So yes, we
Yeah.
believe
We
in
gender
gender
roles,
roles.
yes.
We do.
Absolutely.
We do. Yes.
So
I
how do
will
y'all
never
feel-
lift the table at CPM if Brother James is around.
And guess what I'm gonna do? If my back hurt, ain't no man, go get that
Delegate. Right.
table. Yeah, but
Delegate.
So another one we usually ask, how do you feel about going to bed mad?
Oh,
we don't.
we never did that. No.
Nah, not.
We don't do like. We
Because-
so much fun. Like we
Yeah,
don't.
like,
we
we
don't
really-
go to bed mad. Like we don't have those. Like bishops like care moments.
Yeah.
Oh,
We
yeah.
have care moments.
Care moments.
There's no, and I can't because I gotta match his energy.
Okay.
That's the thing. I gotta match his energy, so I can't be like crashing out. You know what I mean? I can't do that. I can't be a crash out. So I have to like be like calm and like reserved and like because he's so like let's take it down 10 notches. I'm not doing all that, And so because when he gets mad, it's hard to bring him back. So he stays like.
Yeah.
He stays very calm and serene. So there's no going to bed mad. We're going to talk about it. And we're not going to talk about it for hours either. we're gonna get it out the way.
That's
And we're
right.
gonna deal with it, and then we're gonna go watch Grey's Anatomy.
That's what we're gonna do. That's it.
Shonda Rhimes.
Right. We're gonna watch Grey's because we're not mad at. What are we mad for?
Exactly.
There's no
Right.
reason. I love you. Why am I mad at you?
Right.
Right.
You
That's
know,
it.
we have too much to fight in the world for me to
Yeah.
come home to my partner and be nagging him, just being difficult for no reason, not caring about the fight that he has every day as a man, right? Because
Yeah.
those are things that I have to do as his wife. Like, I have to make sure that I'm dying to myself enough to be like, okay, it's not about me. It's not
Right.
about me. Maybe he's mad because this happened at work, or maybe he's
That's
dealing
good.
with, you know, hours. You know, maybe, you know, as a man, you guys know, you guys need that work, you need that money. So I was like, if I know that he's in a space, okay, what can I do for you? Because I know this is a man thing you got
Right.
going on right
Right.
now. Or
I
maybe
get
if
that.
there's difficulties with, you know, the children, or maybe
Right.
again, just being a man, period, right? Just like we have things that we deal with that they don't understand. There are things that you guys deal with that we don't always understand. So I always say the best thing to do is, if you can't be a pleasant person, ask them what they need. If they don't know what they need, leave them alone
Yeah.
until they are ready to explain to you what they need. That'll make you a happy wife.
Yeah. Oh, that was good.
That was good.
That was Jesus, because I didn't know I was
Girl,
going to say
that
any of
was
that.
good. that was a word to me, because I have an issue with just
Absolutely.
like when he's not. I'm like, what is it? What do I need to do? Well, I asked you what's going on.
I understand.
Yeah.
And sometimes,
Yeah.
and I get it, but like, we also have to know, like, you can ask after you've asked him the first time and he says, don't say nothing else. Just be like, okay, baby. What you want? Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, go on to something else. Go on to something, because eventually he's gonna talk to you. And I had
Yeah.
to learn that too, even with him, right?
Yeah.
I had to learn that because I need to know. I have to fix it. You have to be happy. Right? I'm happy. Why aren't you happy? So like all of these things, right? But then I didn't know he just got into it with his boss, or like I
Right.
didn't know that like he just had to deal with this situation, or maybe
Right.
he's dealing with something else, or what have you. You know, so I just had to learn to be like, just be easy, please. So
And in return to her doing that, it allowed me to be able to have my thoughts already together,
Yeah.
because I know she's going
That's
to give me
good.
time. So now I don't have to worry about, and this is past trauma, having an answer for something that you don't have an answer for.
right, yeah, I don't
You know what
rush
I mean?
him into answers.
She don't rush me.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
now
no.
when I do communicate that to her, I'm communicating to her very, as detailed as possible, because so that we can fix it.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Men don't always, when they're in the middle of a situation, they don't always think the way that they're supposed to think. They get very jumbled, right? Like I was telling you, there's this couple that has this, and 20 plus years, men are like waffles, women are like spaghetti. So like where women can like multitask and like I can move from this thought to that thought and have a completely like catered answer to what you need, men can't do that unless they're lying. Right? If they're not a liar, if they're honest, they need some time to really process it and say, this is how this was, this is how it wasn't, this is what I'm gonna do, this is how I feel. And it only makes it worse if we're like, are you ready now? Are you ready now? Can we talk about it? You know, because eventually he's gonna talk about it, you
Yeah.
know, but the more we push, the more they just won't do it. So like now it's never like, again, we have care moments, like we have conversations. There's no like arguing, there's no accusing anybody. There's just how can we still be in love after this conversation?
Right.
You know, so that's why they're usually done very quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Yeah. You go from fighting for days with people, weeks, to whereas you're like, I don't want it anymore. So
Yeah. Oh, tell us about things that you have coming up.
Yes.
oh yes.
Yes.
So we are podcasters. I have some years of
Yeah, she had
of producing and directing and hosting and whatnot experience. And I was still podcasting when I met my husband. So one day I was going through a transition in a podcast, and he was like, "I'll do it with you." I was like, "Oh." This is when we were engaged. The very brief engagement that wasn't engagement, but was. The time I was wearing a ring, and and so that was his first time podcasting. He did a great job.
Now, I was nervous.
He
'Cause I'm like, you get to play back. You're like, man, that sounds different. I'm like, man, I don't like that. We gotta do that over.
Right.
Like, are you sure? Right. No, you know what? You're right. That was a lot of work. We're gonna get better with it.
Right, we'll go to the next one, right?
Yeah.
And so we took some time away from that because we ended up getting COVID 7 times, and so our
Lord.
household,
Wow.
you know, so again, there's 6 people in our household passing COVID back and forth, except for the youngest,
Right.
and so she never got it, and so like, you know, passing it back and forth. We had job transitions and house transitions. We had kids going to college. We're like, wait a minute, we're gonna stop.
Yeah.
We tried again to bring it back, and we were about to move here.
Yeah, we get ready to move.
We were getting ready to move, so we were like,
just-
you know what? We're taking some
just
time
take
off.
some time.
So we did take some time, and so we've done some groundwork
Yeah.
on what we're gonna do going forward in this new
Yes.
project, and we're excited.
Yes.
Yes.
We're excited.
Yeah.
So you know, it'll be a podcast about everything,
Yes.
but just mainly like, you know, like ministry. You know, and when people think ministry, they always think like you got to be standing in a pulpit, right? Like our lives should be like ministry.
Absolutely.
And so, and just being a voice for people who aren't a voice for themselves, maybe people who, you know, they don't have the strength to say, I'll say whatever. Like I'm not shy,
Right.
you know, and so I want to be able to help people, you know, and maybe like bridge some of those gaps. And so he's a perfect person for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice, awesome.
Keep us posted.
Yeah.
I can't
Yes.
wait.
Will,
I cannot
definitely.
wait.
Definitely.
All right. So, is there any final words or anything you would like to say to our listeners?
Oh yes. Okay. That marriage is easy, right? It does not have to be difficult. It doesn't even have to be challenging in a bad way. Marriage is a progression. And I feel like as long as you put Christ at the forefront, which again, in the beginning of our relationship, Christ was not at the forefront because we had both gone away. I mean, he was stronger in what he was doing than I was, right? But as we got this thing back on track, what we've learned is that is your representation of Jesus. It should be, right? Like, you know, how, you know, Christ is married to the church. He took the church as his bride. That's literally what we should be living in marriage every day. And I'm telling you, it can just be so fabulous.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's good.
Yeah. I mean, you said it best, but yeah, no, just, you know, knowing what you want and making sure that you take
Yes.
care of it. You know, and just, when I say loving it, like loving on your spouse,
Yeah.
like you
Yes.
really have to love on your spouse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta chase your spouse.
Yeah.
You gotta chase your
Definitely
spouse,
chase. You know, that's, you know, one of the things that leads to the, you know, just the openness and the togetherness actually too, because like I said, you know, as you know, you're chasing and it's, you know, it leads that excitement, that that venture, that you know, that love, and you know, I love doing it for her. Like I love chasing her. It's like, you know, I know every day she tells me, "You're so handsome." I just, and I always like, girl,
Dimples.
You know, like,
My chocolate Jesus.
y'all see what I'm saying? But
Got him blushing. Look
girl, them too dark to be blushing. But no, it does. Like you need all that. You need all of that, because that, you know, alone in itself, the confidence that a man needs, that's what he gets.
Yeah.
He don't need it from the street. He don't need it from nobody else. He needs it right there from the.
Yes.
You know,
And women
yes.
remember that too.
Mhm.
You have all the confidence your man needs. So if you can't find it, you better figure it out.
I know that's right.
Figure it out. Go to the Word. Get you some good friends. Stay away from the city girls. Get you some good friends that can pray for you, that
Yeah.
can build you up, that can speak life into your situation, speak life into your spouse, right? Oftentimes in marriage, what happens is we get the bellyache committee. You know, we get our friends and we bellyache and they're bellyaching and everybody's bellyaching, but nobody's saying, okay, what's the right thing to do?
Right.
You know, so get you some friends who will call you out, you know, and who will sit you down, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
All right, that's a wrap. So y'all know what to do. If you got any questions, please leave your comments below. And if you have not already subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do that and follow us on all social media platforms. Remember,
The wedding is only the beginning.